you guys, and welcome back to the Phoenix Rising podcast. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I wonder if you ate all the good food or if you decided to just not go overboard for this holiday. It's funny, I actually don't like the feeling of being overly stuffed. Like, I know there's some people that they basically save all of their calories for the Thanksgiving meal. I don't like that feeling. So I hope that whether you stuffed yourself or you just ate totally normal, that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and you spent some time with family or friends and just sat there and had some stuff to be grateful for, because I am very grateful for you and being here as part of this podcast. We have a lot to cover. We have so much to cover because I have gotten a lot of questions this last week, and we have today's topic, which is all about xenoestrogens, parabens, and other big words that you should know about, why it's important for your health. I appreciate all of the feedback and comments and messages that I got about last week's episode with timing your nutrition and your workouts with your hormones and your physiology. I got a ton of questions from that, which is what I'm going to talk about at the beginning of this. But anyways, for those of you who sent me messages, who sent me comments and screenshots and all that, saying that you really appreciated it and it helped you get more educated, not just on your own bodies, but the other part that was interesting was I also had a lot of other personal trainers, fitness coaches, and fitness professionals that sent me a message that responded saying that it really helped them get educated on how they can better serve their clients with their training and nutrition. So that makes me really happy. I'm glad that you guys got a lot out of that and found it super helpful. I even had a few people that asked if I did any kind of mentorship for new trainers and fitness coaches to help educate them on how to best train clients. And I told them yes. So if you're one of those people, send me a message and we'll get you educated on how you can best serve your clients. But anyway, so we'll get into today's topic, but I do want to just acknowledge the questions that I got because, like normal, I usually get it from multiple people. So answering them on here means that you probably have had similar questions. So one of the first questions that I got was, should you work out whenever you're sick or you're feeling under the weather? This is one of those things where, every doctor you go to is going to tell you like you need rest and recovery, which I do agree with. But this is also something that you got to just have a relationship and listen to your own body. For me, I prefer to at least walk or do light exercise that gives me a good sweat. And that's usually what I tell clients too, is look, if you can't get out of bed, obviously rest and relax. But one of the natural ways that your immune system stays healthy and your body detoxes any kind of viruses or bacteria or anything like that is through sweating. And I explained this to the person. I said, think about it. When you are sick, what's the thing that people tell you? Like, oh, they broke a fever. It's because your body raised its temperature so much to force you to sweat. And eventually your body starts to reset I can't even think of it, thermoregulation, your body's core temperature, but it raises to help you sweat, to help fight off bacteria, to help detox your pathways. So for me, I always say assess for yourself, listen to your body. You know if you need to rest, but if it's possible for you to figure out a way to sweat as a form of detoxing and helping your body, that's always going to be the best approach, obviously with hydration too. So that's the other thing that you have to think about when you are sweating a lot and you're a little bit under the weather is you also want to make sure you're hydrating more with just basic water. Water is fantastic, but you want to really up your electrolytes. So all the different leucines, isoleucine, valine, sodium, potassium, magnesium, because all those vitamins and minerals and branched chain aminos are really just going to help the body internally, giving it the best support and environment it needs to help you stay healthy, to get energized and work through anything that's going on. So that's the first question. The other question that I got was, hey, Ashley, I'm just curious, why do I feel so shaky after an intense workout? Is it because I've hit my threshold or is it something else? This is a great question, and there's a lot of different misconceptions about this. So, when you exercise, the way that your body gives you energy in order to get through lifting or an intense conditioning workout or anything like that is it takes stored energy called glucose and it basically runs it straight through your body. So that way you have plenty in there to like give you that endurance, give you that adrenaline rush, and it just shoots it through your bloodstream. Your liver is responsible for producing this for you. When you work out, especially intense workouts, what happens, and it depends on like the duration and the intensity level of it, which is something totally different. But basically, if you're feeling shaky and weak after, it's usually because your glucose stores are completely depleted. Meaning like that workout was so intense that your body had to use every bit of glucose, which AKA it's food, so carbohydrates and food sources, in order to fuel that. And now that the workout is over, your body is completely done, which means your glucose levels are low, and it's letting you know, hey, we don't have anything left and we need to be replenished. This is why post-workout nutrition is so important in order for you to replace and stabilize the blood sugar levels pretty quickly. So with post-workout nutrition, the first thing you want is protein 100% because it's going to hit the muscles. It's going to help with the repair and the recovery process. Muscles are made of amino acids. So when you're choosing a protein, I mean, it really depends. So for me, I usually do about 20, 25 grams of protein right after a workout to just like totally feed my body. And I like to do a combination of whey and casein. So whey isolate is going to immediately hit the muscles. It's fast acting. And then casein is more slow digesting. So it's going to take a little bit longer for your body to absorb it and break it down. That's why I like the blend, because I need something immediate, but I also want something that's going to help me for about an hour or so before I can get some food in. So that's one of the things that you want. Typically, timing wise, you need to get that in within 30 minutes after you have finished your session. That's when the body is most depleted and begging you for nutrition. So the protein portion of that is really just to fuel the muscles, the muscular breakdown. You also need to fuel post-workout nutrition with carbohydrates that have some form of sugar in them. And I know typically it's like, don't eat sugar. Well, don't go eat a bunch of candy, but you do need sugar to replace the glucose that has just been depleted and to balance out your blood sugar. So the best option for you is really some form of fruit. I like bananas or strawberries or blueberries post-workout. But that's what's going to help with the shakiness. That's what helps with being nauseous. That's what helps with that weak feeling is your body just is totally depleted. Now, here's something I do want to address that I see. I mean, I think it happens more than women than it does with men. So a lot of women, they know this, but what happens is after a workout, they think, oh, you know what? I'm going to skip that post-workout meal to save some calories and hopefully boost fat loss. Here's the problem with that is if you skip that, your body doesn't have anything to actually maintain lean muscle. So it'll wait. You'll get that shaky feeling because it's waiting like, all right, you're going to replenish me and give me some more food, right? When you don't, your body goes catabolic where it starts to consume all that lean muscle that you just worked so hard to build in order to find energy. So it's almost counteracting everything that you're doing. So instead, you want to immediately fuel your body, especially if you feel that shakiness, to give your muscles what it needs so that your nutrition works well with your workouts. And then you'll find that you're stabilized, you maintain energy, you don't have any blood sugar drops, and it'll actually help with just overall performance and building strength. So hopefully that answers the question for that. The other question that came up, and this is pretty common too, and again, it's a nutrition related question. Well, I would say nutrition and stress kind of question is, how come at night sometimes I'm restless or I get night sweats? Like I just feel hot and I can't like get comfortable or my mind is racing. This is kind of a loaded question because there's a lot of things that could be going on. Typically, I always look at nutrition first because pre-bed nutrition, you want to make sure that you're getting some sort of protein. I typically recommend casein again because it's slow digesting. So it means while you're sleeping, your body will use it as fuel over long periods of time. And then some form of fat, because the fat is also going to help with that of metabolizing it while you sleep. The problem if you are feeling restless and you're getting the night sweats can be a couple things. So if you're eating food at night, that's either high in sugar, and I'm not necessarily talking about dessert, but like if you eat a lot of fruit or if you eat simple carbohydrates that your body processes as sugar, it ends up causing an insulin response. So your insulin spikes right before bed, just like during the day. If you ate sugar and then you have that big rush of energy, your core temperature raises, your body's trying to burn it off. So you end up sweating because your blood sugar is trying to regulate. So the way that you counter this is, like I said, you eat some form of clean protein. Casein is going to be the best thing. Combine it with fat. If you're going to eat any carbohydrates, you want to make sure they're complex carbohydrates that don't cause that insulin glycemic response in your body. So that's that on the nutrition side. The other side of that too, though, is from a mindset, and even this is more brain type setup. If you're having a hard time and your brain is racing and all that, it could simply be that you haven't practiced ways to calm down the parasympathetic nervous system. So this is the nervous system. So if you're always on high stress, if you have really high cortisol, if you're never taking time to just disconnect and connect to yourself for moments of silence, doing some breath work, things like that, what happens is your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the deep part of your nervous system, the subconscious mind, hasn't had the opportunity to relax and is being trained and conditioned to always be on. So just like the body can be trained and conditioned, so can the brain. So when you go to bed at night, the parasympathetic nervous system is what should kick in to relax you and put you into that deep sleep. If it's not, it's because you have an intense amount of cortisol. And I mean, this can get more complex. It could be other things too. But from a basic standpoint, you need to practice calm, relaxing meditations, mindfulness, and breath work to help lower the cortisol levels, but also to just allow the parasympathetic nervous system to relax. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can just turn off all your TVs, computers, phone devices, and just shut it down, which, I mean, if you've been listening to this, you know that I do that every night purposely because I learned this a long time ago of like, I can't be on my phone late at night. It keeps me up. And instead, you can just spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you want to do, just sitting in silence, focusing on your breath, relaxing, repeating affirmations or mantras, reading a book, whatever it is that calms you down. So that's one of the things that can be causing that as well, along with the nutrition side. Again, there's other things that can be going on, but anything past that is going to be more just personal and based on what you specifically are dealing with. So the next question that I got is, should I try carb cycling for fat loss if I feel stuck and like I'm not getting results? Oh, man. I'm going to say no. Like if I had to give you a straight yes and no, I would say no. And here's the reason why. Typically, if you're not getting results, and this, again, is very personal. It depends on where you're at. Like, are you so fit and in shape that there's really not much left for you to lose when it comes to fat? Are you severely overweight that you have a lot to lose? Because then that has nothing. You don't need a carb cycle. We just got to clean up your nutrition and change your workout structures. I don't love carb cycling. It can work for some people. It's going to work a lot better than for men than it is for women for the reasons that I talked about on the last podcast about how females have different hormone structures. So we go through a period where our body can't access carbs. So if you're carb cycling during the time that your body can't access carbs, you're going to feel like you got hit by a bus because your body has no fuel. For men, you can try it. But even with that, it really depends too on your training level. It gets very complicated and complex because you can do like 2 days on, 1 day off, meaning like 2 days of high carb, 1 day of low carb. And anytime you start getting super complex like that, it just, long story short, I just don't think it's necessary. So to answer that without really answering it, no. If you're feeling stuck with your fat loss, I don't think you need to try and do some crazy diet. I'm not about any kind of crazy diets. It's probably something very simple. Maybe it's just you could be under eating or you could be overeating. You could be deficient in something. Maybe it's your training, but I wouldn't honestly even bother with carb cycling. All right. One more question that I got, and then we're going to get into today's episode. So the other question that I got was, Ashley, do you ever have bad days? I feel like you wake up and you just have pixie dust all over you and you don't ever have a bad day. Oh my God, you have no idea. So the answer is yes, absolutely. I have bad days. I have bad days just like everybody else. And actually, just a couple days ago, I had a really terrible day. I don't know what happened. I just woke up and I had extreme anxiety and I felt super disoriented and like I didn't know what I was doing with my life and totally stressed out and questioning everything. So yeah, I do have bad days. Here's what I'll say though. The difference is over time, the more and more like I've done meditations and mindset stuff, and the more that I've practiced self-awareness and I practice like really checking in and going inward, it's not that the bad days stop. It's just, I don't all of a sudden wrap my entire life around them anymore. So when a bad day happens, and the same for, like typically if I'm having a bad day, I totally just retreat. I go inward. It's a sign to me that I need to connect to myself and disconnect to everything else. I'll usually go spend a lot of time in nature. I go do a workout by myself. Like that's how I handle bad days of just like, all right, I'm not going to put the focus outwards because that's not helping me at all. I'm going to go inward and just like, all right, that's just letting me know. Don't do anything today. Don't make any big decisions on bad days. Don't make any big assumptions on bad days because nothing good ever comes from hastiness and emotionally driven, like frustrating responses. So let me first get grounded. Let me check in with myself. And then tomorrow I'll come back to whatever this situation is and see how I feel then. But in this moment right now, I'm very emotionally heightened. I feel very disoriented. I feel outside myself, which means just take a step back and don't do anything. So yes, I do have bad days all the time, just like everybody else. It's just they don't totally rock my world anymore. And instead I just like, all right, well, this is today. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to freak out. I'm just going to take a break, relax, do whatever I need to do to take care of me. And then tomorrow I'll come back out and feel even better. So social media, this podcast can make it seem like I don't, but trust me, I don't show up on these things on the days that I'm feeling like crap because then I wouldn't totally be showing up for you and giving you this content and providing you value. So I usually wait until I'm more grounded. So those are the questions. Thank you so much for sending them. And I really hope that that helped you. All right. So now I want to get into this because this is something that like I feel super passionate about, but not really, just more so in educating people on the importance of the things that you do every single day, how it affects your life and your body. So xenoestrogens, parabens, sulfates, formaldehyde, mineral oil, maltodextrin, all these big words and how they apply to you and your health and why it's important for you to know what they are. All right. So in order to explain to you what these things are, I have to first explain to you your endocrine system. So your endocrine system is basically like this global network inside your body. It's made up of a bunch of different organs and a bunch of different glands. It is used to regulate your hormones, to control, coordinate your body's metabolism, your reproduction. It helps with stress and mood. It's super important to regulate a lot of responses in your body. So without getting crazy sciencey on you, we'll just go to things like your adrenal gland, your ovaries, male reproduction, the pancreas, all these things in the body that are really important just for like keeping you healthy, keeping your metabolism healthy, keeping cortisol and stress down, and making sure that you're producing the right amount of testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. Along with, you have, by the way, I meant to say this on the other one, you have more hormones than that. Those are just like the main ones. Like you have an LH, you have an FH, you have all kinds of things. Anyways, okay, so that's your endocrine system. So the stuff I'm about to explain to you that it's important for you are because they directly affect the functionality of your endocrine system. And the crazy thing about this is you can be eating healthy and you can be exercising and doing all the right things. And you may have some stuff that you're using every single day that causes endocrine system disruption, which is nuts. Like when I first started learning about this stuff, I was so angry because I'm like, how the hell is it even legal for companies to make this crap without like, hey, FYI, this might totally F up your internal system. No big deal though. Like keep using our products. And you might feel the same way. So all these different things that, and I'm not going to get too much into it, more just giving you enough education to make you aware so you can start making the changes if you want and the different things that you're using. But these different big words, parabens, xenoestrogens, sulfates, mineral oil, formaldehyde. And like, you may be like, formaldehyde, believe it or not, it's in your shampoo and your conditioner. But yes, formaldehyde, all of these things disrupt the normal function of your hormones and the signals that go throughout your brain to help keep so many things functioning properly. So here's the crazy thing about this. We'll start with xenoestrogens. So xenoestrogens, it's literally chemicals, and it's found, like I said, it's found in like skincare, it's found in cleaning products, it's found in plastic, in your food, pesticides, hairspray, like so many things. It's nuts. But so xenoestrogens disrupt the endocrine system by creating a fake estrogen-like effect in your body. This is for both men and women, not just women. So as you know, like estrogen's a natural hormone. It's important for all kinds of things in reproduction, and the body regulates it when it's healthy. When xenoestrogens get into the body, what happens is it increases the overall total amount of estrogen, resulting in things called estrogen dominance. So it's kind of a weird and complex thing to explain, but basically, when you're using these products over and over every single day, like think about how many times you brush your teeth, you spray your hair, you wash your face, you use air freshener, you use plastic things, you use a certain laundry detergent, hair dye, like anything and everything you use every single day that you're putting on your body and you're breathing it in and around it, it creates fake estrogen buildup in the body, which disrupts your endocrine system. Isn't that nuts? Like, this is the thing, is it's like when you start, and there's a whole list. I can't give you every single list that's out there of like, okay, these are the ingredients to look for. And you actually, here's the other crazy thing, you actually won't see xenoestrogen on the label of any of your personal care products. So that's why I want to get into this other stuff of what you will see. Xenoestrogens is basically just like the category, or I guess you could say the subcategories of what all of these things are called. So, I mean, there's so many things that, God, no, I'm just going to stop because I could go on a whole soapbox thing about this, and I kind of already am. But all right, so let me instead give you some more details of what you can look for and why it's important for you to know these things. Okay, so some of the things that you can look for on any of your labels, so any personal care, anything you use every single day, I don't care what it is, anything you use every day, some of the stuff you can look for, especially so things like skincare, even sunscreen lotion. So sunscreen lotion with, I don't even know how to say some of this stuff, benzophenone. This stuff actually causes my skin to break out if it's in a sunscreen. So I have to make sure it's free of that. Otherwise it makes my skin break out, which makes total sense because it's not good for your body anyways. But so when it comes to skincare, The paraben category is methylparaben, ethylparaben, propylparaben. It's anything that ends in paraben. And paraben is basically a form of a preservative. So originally, all these companies used this to preserve the products. The problem was over time, because it's not a natural preservative, it's a chemical substance that was made in a lab. It has now been identified as a xenoestrogen causing endocrine system disruption. So the interesting thing about that, this is also with your shampoos, your conditioner, your hairsprays, anything like that. This is why so many companies now, if you start shopping in the natural skincare, natural shampoo, you will see a whole list. And now they start putting it on there of no parabens, no sulfates, no formaldehyde, no chemical ingredients, things like that, because all this stuff is coming out now that people have been using this stuff for years and having all kinds of issues that are people who are generally healthy. And it's like, well, no wonder. For 20 something years, you've been using this chemical that's getting into your skin and then disrupting your entire endocrine system. So first thing you can do with that, obviously, if you can, when it comes to deodorant, face wash, face lotion, sunscreen, shampoo, conditioner, all this stuff, switch to natural things. The weird thing about this is you're actually going to notice there's almost like it's called like a detox phenomena. Basically, where when you switch to natural stuff, and a lot of girls notice this with shampoo and conditioner, when you go from using shampoo and conditioner that's had all this crap in it, and then you switch to something natural, your body almost is like detoxing the other stuff, that your hair structure and the feeling of it will start to change. And not just that, the same thing with skincare, same thing with deodorant. Like you might actually, your armpits might smell worse at first when you switch to natural stuff, because your body is detoxing all the heavy metals and plastic and crap that was stuck in there. And then eventually your body regulates itself. But I mean, you should be sweating. So even with deodorant, antiperspirants that keep you from sweating, that's a bad idea. You're literally supposed to be sweating that stuff out. And when you use deodorants that have aluminum and these anti-sweat promises, you're plugging up your body's natural way to detox harmful things in there. So I don't really care if you stink for like a month or a few weeks. Like, just let your friends know, like, hey, sorry, I kind of smell. I decided I'm going all natural. Give me some time and I'll get back to normal. But it's so important for your overall health. So that's some of the stuff that you can look for. Is anything in skincare that ends in paraben, you're going to want to avoid. And then with your sunscreen, the benzo, like I said, I don't know how you say it. I only know, I'm looking at my sunscreen now and it says benzophenone free. Make sure you take a look at that. So the other part of this too is with your food. With your food. Oh my God. If one more person complains about how expensive natural and organic food is, fine. Keep eating your cheap, crappy food. And then when you feel like crap because you're giving your body crap, do not complain to me, because your body's telling you it doesn't want it. So stop giving it that. So number one, when it comes to your food, do your best when you can to switch to organic food. So organic produce, for a couple different reasons. Organic produce, there are laws. It doesn't mean that it's perfect, but there are laws that if something is labeled organic, there's different inspection processes that they have to go through to validate and confirm that they do not use pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides on their produce, or any kind of fertilizers that are not natural. Those are one of the common endocrine system disruptors. Is non-organic produce. They use pesticide to prevent pests getting in there and eating all their food, which makes total sense. It's just now that we know, oh wait though, like humans shouldn't be inhaling and eating food that has that on it. And like you think about it, it goes in the dirt. The soil is where we get all the nutrients from that is growing all this food. So yeah, you want to make sure that they're not putting fertilizer and pesticides inside the produce that you're eating. So you want to stick to organic. On top of that, with your meat and your dairy products, again, do your best to buy hormone-free, organic things. And this is the thing that's always funny to me, is like when I go to the grocery store and I see something, a label that says no pesticides, no artificial growth hormones, no this, no that, my mind immediately thinks if they're saying it doesn't include that, it means all this other crap does include it. What? Like, why is this stuff even allowed on the shelves if somebody else is over here labeling like, hey, we don't use this stuff because we know this stuff is bad? So start becoming more aware. Look at the labels. If you don't know what that is on the label, you probably shouldn't eat it. So you want to stick with the things that are telling you, like, we don't use any animals that are injected with growth hormones. We don't use any pesticides in our products. This is 100% organic. Then you know that while it may not be perfect, at least you're doing the best you can to minimize your exposure to some of these things. Also with your household products, I mean, even things as small as like your toilet paper, coffee filters. It was crazy to me the first time when I started learning about this a couple of years ago. And I do pour over coffee in the morning. So like single serving pour over. I don't put it in like a big coffee pot. And I started like researching all this stuff and I was like, coffee filters? No way. It's just paper. Like, what could you possibly put in a coffee filter? And sure enough, I was like reading the ingredients of my coffee filter and it's like bleach, chlorine, some other ingredient that I don't even know what it is. And then I picked up the one that says like organic coffee filter and it's just like 100% organic, whatever is in a coffee filter. Like, it's just nuts. Same thing with your toilet paper. Same thing with things like tampons and pads and all kinds of personal care items. It's nuts. You want to do your best to make sure with your household products too, you're using chemical free, biodegradable, all natural cleaning stuff. So all the neat freaks out there who are OCD about making things super clean, you're going to want to stop using all the super heavy cleaning products that you're then inhaling and is touching your skin, and then your pets and then your kids and all this other stuff is also consuming it as well. That's like the basic of that. If you can, I mean, obviously anytime you can be natural is going to be the best thing. The reason this is so important though, is because a lot of the stuff that causes men to have low testosterone, women to have estrogen dominance, unexplained like underlying health issues, these allergies, sensitive skin, all this stuff that like so many people have. And it's like, I'm so healthy though. Like, I don't even understand how this happens. And even here's an interesting thing too. Even I had this one client who has been on birth control for a very long time, had estrogen dominance and all this, and like doing backtracking of like, all right, when did this symptom start? When did you get on this? Why did you get on this? What was going on? For some people, signs of endocrine system disruption starts all the way back from like their middle school and teenage years, because they grew up in a household that used a lot of dairy that had artificial growth hormones, or a household that used a lot of heavy chemical cleaning products, or a lot of plastics, or a lot of pesticides and all this stuff during a time that your body was developing healthy endocrine system functions. So it's crazy, like when you start to become aware of these things of like, holy crap, no wonder this happened to me, because I basically was filling my body with toxic stuff when it was just developing and getting built out. So now when you go to the grocery store or you're buying all your favorite personal care products, I mean, like I said, when I first learned about this, I threw away so much stuff, from makeup to my toothpaste to my friggin' like body lotion. Cause I'm like, oh my God, all these colors, yellow #2, blue 55, methyl something, paraben this, sulfate that, formaldehyde. Why is there formaldehyde in my shampoo? Like, when you start becoming aware of it, it really does make you a little bit angry. And also like, guys, like, we couldn't do better than this. The best we could do was formaldehyde. We didn't have like a better solution of how to wash your hair. Come on. Sucralose, really? This white powder that kind of looks like sugar, but totally throws off our gut and our entire internal system. We couldn't just use a plant. Come on, guys, quit being lazy. Like, that's how it made me feel. Of just like, you guys are so lazy and cheap that you're just throwing this stuff in here, taking no responsibility for people's health and feeling good about yourself for throwing these products on the shelf without educating anybody. Where now, I promise you, next time you go to the store, look at the natural products, natural deodorant, natural whatever, and you will see the list of everything of, we don't use artificial sweeteners. We don't use artificial chemicals. We don't use anything that's going to disrupt your system. We're 100% natural. It's just nuts. Also, more, now I am really on my soapbox. I would just like to make a PSA for everybody that the big company Lush that's in the mall that smells like overly powerful when you walk by it, I don't get what the hype is about that, because it's not natural. Like, everybody's like, oh my God, I switched from this Pantene shampoo to Lush and my hair is so much better. And I'm like, no, it's not. They claim to be handmade products. That doesn't mean that they're natural products. And when you start researching it, it's like, oh, actually, no, they're not. They use sulfates too, and a lot of artificial fragrances. Why is it such a big deal? Because somebody stamped handmade on there. Anyways, educate yourself. Educate yourself. Start reading labels. Start spending the money on buying high quality food, nutrition products. Even at the beginning of this, when we were talking about nutrition with your workouts, if you're going to eat a banana and a protein shake after your workout, make sure it's an organic banana, and then make sure it's all natural protein powder, not protein powder that has sucralose and colors and artificial sweeteners in it. You want to give your body the best. And this comes down to just, let's just snuggle on up. It comes down to, you deserve the best. You deserve to look your best, feel your best inside and out. So give your body the best stuff, knowing that when you do, it's going to function so much better. You're going to feel so much better. A lot of stuff when it comes to like hair, skin, and nails, which every time somebody has something going on with hair, skin, or nails, it's always an internal thing. It's got to do something with nutrients, nutrition, or some sort of function that's either working or not working properly. So if you want to look and feel your best, you want to PR your workouts, you want to just like have a healthy immune system, this is another thing you can do to make sure that what you're doing internally, obviously, like I talk about mindset stuff, that what you're doing internally with your mind, with your food and nutrition, is going to start showing up and healing you externally as well. So that's why I wanted to talk about it, because a lot of times people are like, people just hear paraben and like, nah, I don't know what that is. I'm like, do you know what yellow number 3 is? Do you know what formaldehyde is? And they're like, yeah, isn't formaldehyde like the thing in chemistry class where we had to cut open the pig that it was sitting in formaldehyde to preserve it? Yes, that's correct. That's also in your shampoo. So maybe you do want to start reading labels and get more educated and buy better quality products. So I share all these things simply with the intention of hopefully being able to help you and just like scratching the surface of giving you some information that most companies are not going to give you out there as a tool to just take better care of your health. Like, there's only so much you can do, and you don't have to be perfect. This isn't about being perfect. This is about empowering yourself with awareness, just being more aware of what you're consuming, of what you're putting on your body, of your environment. And this awareness goes to everything. It's just like you're aware of the people you surround yourself with. You're aware of the things you feed your mind. You don't want to listen to the news all day, listening to negative talk and gossip and crap that's not positive. So what do? You change your external environment. Well, this is the same way you can do that with your internal environment. It's just another step of practicing awareness and giving your body the absolute best, because you do deserve the absolute best and to feel your best. I hope that was not too overwhelming, and instead you're like, holy shit, I'm going home and checking all of my labels now. I hope you do. And then I hope you go and walk up to the grocery store counter and be like, why are you selling this? Do you have any idea? Do you listen to this Phoenix Rising podcast? Do you know what this is doing to my endocrine system? I would be so proud, but not really. You don't have to do that because it's not their fault. All right. If you would like some help with personalized nutrition, workout programming, mindset programming to help you feel your absolute best, head on over to ashleydrummons.com and we can set up a call and talk all about you and your goals. And I would be more than happy to help you as your coach. Also, I love it when you guys screenshot this and share it on social media, letting me know that you're listening to it. It makes me so happy and makes my day. So if you want to do that, I would love that. Otherwise, make sure that you're subscribed so that you get next week's episode as soon as it comes out. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week on the Phoenix Rising podcast.